This robot can learn through observation. One of the major limitations to robotics is having to program how it moves. But why not have something that can not just learn to move, but can learn to move by watching? This is considered a major factor when it comes to real intelligence, at least in animals, and now a robot has it. Meet Adam, autonomous, domestic, ambidextrous manipulator. That's probably not a great name, but it's designed as a home care robot and can do many of the same things that a person can do. They opted for what is essentially mittens, so it can do the most important task of grabbing with a thumb and fingers. However, they did not include the more complex design of actual fingers, which it turns out is really complicated to do even in prosthetics, let alone robotics. They also boast that it has fine motor skills, so one major problem with robotics is that they tend to be a little stronger than they should be, and that can mean that they can do some significant damage, and that is a risk. But Adam is actually capable of grabbing a squishy toy. If you say the stress ball is not actually that impressive, I would agree with you. I want to see how well it can do with opening bottles and doing things that elderly people actually need. To be fair, robots have already been working in the healthcare field for a while, more often in other countries like Japan, and they will become increasingly necessary with aging populations. As birth rate declines globally, you're going to need somebody to take care of the elderly folks, and unless everyone goes into healthcare and we get our act together, robots may be very necessary. As for Adam, it does two really unique things. The first one is that it observes how humans do things like grasp and move and use their arms. And each arm works independently while communicating with the other. Yes, getting robot limbs to work together is also a major issue. Now, having arms that communicate with each other is not all that dissimilar to what we do. Our arms are being operated by a different side of our brain, and the brain communicates with itself through the corpus callosum. In fact, if you split that, you might be aware of what you're doing, but you will find that your non-dominant hand is just out there doing stuff, and you're no longer commanding it. So, yeah, it makes sense that you would want a robot brain to continuously tell it what its limbs are doing. The idea of a split brain in robotics is fairly new, but it seems to be effective. It surprises me that people just hadn't tried it earlier. It's always been my opinion that it's better to plagiarize from nature than try to figure it out the hard way. Now, I have a question about robotics learning by observing from people. Now, we know that LLMs can alter their own code, they can learn and grow without our input. We also know that they can have personalities, and those personalities can be tracked. We also know that they're pretty good at understanding our personalities. Yeah, chatting with an AI is more likely to give you accurate personality assessments than just taking the personality assessments. That's probably because you're less likely to be performative about what kind of person you want to be when you're taking those tests. But if AIs learn from us, I wonder how their personalities would change based on who they're around, or why they might pick up one trait versus another and how effective that is. Or if we're just going to make robots that are psychopaths. I guess we'll find out. Follow for more.